I'm sitting here with Greg Schwartz, Chief Business Officer of Zillow. We want to get into, I don't want to say controversy, but there's some controversy around this whole instant offer opportunity. So let me just start by saying, Greg, welcome. Say hi to everybody out there in Tom Ferry Nation.
Great to be with you.
Yeah, so we want to just get right into it. So I want to thank you guys for watching, whether you're live on YouTube or live on Facebook. We have a bunch of questions that were asked. My team codified them. We've got all kinds of stuff we're going to go through today, just right at Greg with what's going on in your minds, so we can either get you over it or get you into it or just get you on your way back to helping more buyers and sellers sell more houses and in doing what you do. So, Greg, what is Instant Offer?
Okay, Instant Offers is a test of a new concept that we're working on, which is this. We've seen a lot of consumer interest in research and in startup activity in Silicon Valley, where folks are looking for an easier, potentially looking for an easier way to sell their homes. Yep. Or that's at least the murmur in town. So here's what we're testing. We're testing this in Orlando and in Las Vegas. You can come to the site that is Zillow.com, find your home by searching on our database, put your address in, and answer some very basic questions. How old is the roof? Have you renovated the kitchen? How's the house looking? So spend about 5 minutes, upload some photos, doesn't have to be staged, some basic photos taken from an iPhone or an Android phone. And then within about 24 hours, we get you 3 non-binding offers from investors and always a CMA from a primer agent. And
which one comes first?
It all comes in one package together at the same time. So you've got the CMA, you've got 3 offers. Typically, it's not always the case. Sometimes more, sometimes fewer. And Susan, which is the persona for we call Susan the seller, Susan can go ahead and actually look at these things side by side.
So before you give us data and insight, what was the purpose of Instant Offer?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. We see a lot of categories on the internet, actually in commerce, folks looking for more streamlined, easier ways to conduct their affairs. And there's been a whole lot of Silicon Valley startup activity around a streamlined selling process in real estate. And what we're trying to understand, because this is just a test, and it's just a test in 2 markets, and it's very manual and very early, we're trying to see is, what is the balance, and is there really a balance for more convenience in the selling process versus net proceeds? Am I, if I'm selling my house, willing to give up, because you have to, some of my net proceeds to not have to stage it, to not have to run an open house, to be able to set my own closing date, and have a little less stress in the process? Because Susan, the seller, is unbelievably stressed about selling her home, even in this hot market. Sure. It's a very stressful experience. And what we tend to do in these tests is, I have a hypothesis, which is the vast majority of folks are looking to maximize their net proceeds on selling the home, and the way to do that is in the MLS. But there is some component of the market that has had a death in the family, is relocating, had a baby, for whatever reason is trying to move. And so we're trying to understand how big that component of the market is. Silicon Valley would tell you that it's everybody. Yeah. I don't think that's the case, and our company doesn't think that's the case. And so we're trying to understand with some hard numbers, not emotions, where this all sits.
So the hypothesis is that there is a market for that person who is thinking, I need to either sell now, sell fast, don't want the inconvenience of working with consumers on that level. Like, that's the thought? Yeah. Do you think it's a small market? Like, your opinion. I know what Silicon Valley believes. What is Zillow's opinion?
Yeah, can I tell you a story, if it's okay? Please. About, this was someone really that came through Instant Offers in Orlando. So it's a guy whose mom had passed away. He lived in California. This is all real instance. He lives in California. His mom had passed away. She had no debt on the house and no mortgage. She'd been in there for 20 or 30 years. Had all her stuff, and he didn't really want to go through the process of cleaning it out, staging it. He didn't have the flexibility in his life. I'm not sure what the conditions specifically were, but my sense is the financial flexibility to be able to fly across the country and do this process. He didn't want to do it. So he submitted an Instant Offer. And in his case, I suspect he'll take one of the investor offers. It was about at 9% to market. So he's given up a few percentage points on net proceeds, but to him, it was worth having the streamlined process. The vast majority of folks, when they've gone, requested an Instant Offer, I think they're using instant offers as a validation to set a floor for what they think their home is worth when they're thinking about selling it, and they're going to go ahead and list it, hopefully with one of the Premier agents that gave them a CMA.
So we're going to come back to that in a minute. I want to speak more to what have you guys discovered. Then we're going to get into all the hard hitting, not that the first two were easy questions.
Yeah.
What have you guys discovered? Speak more about that. Like what percentage of people do you think are actually going to do this, even though they might start the process?
Yeah, so let's hammer at this one. So far, we've learned a ton, which is it's a hairy process and an emotional process, and we're doing this very manually. So we're learning this. There certainly is a market for folks to have a streamlined selling process, but it's way smaller than the folks that want to talk to a real estate agent. So the vast majority of the folks coming through a process who take an action, the action is they go ahead and want to engage with a real estate agent who gave them a CMA, right? And a whole bunch of those have ended up as listings with the real estate agents that are participating in this process. So I suspect we have built a machine, or we're in the process of building a machine that validates the floor of what a home is worth beyond what the Zestimate tells folks, and gives them the courage to take action with a real estate agent at the majority. And there is a minority of folks who do want to go ahead and do a different process.
Interesting. So minority of the people that are going on instant offer are ultimately saying we'll do it on our own, and the vast majority are saying I want to go with an agent.
Yep.
Did you guys think that going in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this leads me to the question I wanted to ask you guys first. So I was invited to spend some time with you guys 30 days ago up in Seattle, and got a chance to spend some time with you and Lloyd, the co-founder of Zillow. And one of the things that I brought up to them was, this instant offer thing created a shit burrito for people. I mean, it's my show. I can say all that kind of stuff. I mean, think of the firestorm that came out. Inman, anybody that was writing. Now, you and I both know there's a lot of camps in real estate. I take it not unlike Republicans and Democrats and independents, right? There's people that love Zillow. There's people that hate Zillow. There's people that are like, oh, Zillow did what? And they have no idea because they're just selling houses and not paying attention.
Yep.
But there was a lot of people that maybe thought, me included, that maybe the way you guys announced this could have been done differently. Any lessons from a PR standpoint on this?
He's being polite, by the way. He might have been impolite in private about what we did wrong. Here it is. We've got a North Star at Zillow, and we're pretty open about what the North Star is. We have to delight the consumer in the real estate decisions: buying a house, renting a house, financing a house, renovating a house. We have to delight the consumer first. We have to empower them to get the outcomes they want for their lives. Again, convenience, net proceeds would be an example of it. We believe we do that by connecting them to world-class real estate professionals. And that is from the heart, connecting them to world-class real estate professionals, and we believe that will be durable for decades to come, that connection.
Yes.
Okay? So that is from the heart, and that is the truth. How we talk about that, there's nothing we've done that I've done at the company, and I've been there 11 years, that I haven't been told not to do by someone on social media.
Well, of course.
So I'd give you an example. Some years ago, we were launching agent reviews. And gosh, I got yelled at. And I got yelled at so much. And by the way, it's to a point in life where if I get yelled at, it doesn't stop us from doing what we think is right. And,
Yes.
I don't look for it, and the company doesn't look for it. But we do what we think is right. So when we're launching reviews some years ago, folks were very sensitive to it. And they had to experience it themselves, and it's become an unbelievable conversion tool for great real estate agents.
Yes.
Right? Whether they pay us money as an advertiser or Premier agent or not, they're welcome to get reviews on our platform. And it's an unbelievable tool, and it's overwhelmingly positive, and it's made the better even better.
Yep.
Okay? And so my expectation is instant offers is going to follow that same trend line. We're going to get a bunch of heat on the beginning. I don't think there's a lot of trust in America right now for big companies. Acknowledge it. Anything we do is going to be suspicious, which is don't tell me, show me. We're going to show you that this is going to become a good, predictable way to build a listing-driven business for listing leads. But the same rules hold, and if I'm going on too long, kick me under the table.
Fine. It's fine. I mean, you're speaking volumes about half the questions are people that are like, well, how do I get it? And when am I going to get it? And how do I get selected? And the other half are basically screw you.
Yep.
Right. So let's do some of the screw you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Right. And I don't think you entirely answered the question, other than the fact that you guys have your North Star. There had to be a better way to mess. I mean, people are going to be pissed. The pissed off people are going to be pissed. It doesn't matter if you say we're giving out free money. There's people that will say it's Zillow, it's bad money, it's evil.
I hear you, and so it is to be misunderstood is part of being a human and walking through life. Yeah. And that's everybody's burden. Hey, we work really, really hard to be as transparent as we can in a really competitive marketplace because we have competition, and in a demanding marketplace, and we try to be as good and as transparent as we can. On this one, hey, we announced to you all a 2-market test done manually.
Yeah.
Not even sure if we're going to launch a product. In the old days, we would have tested this for a year without anyone knowing about it. But in the age of social media, we got to be transparent because everything is going to be known.
Yes.
So, hey, there's probably things we could have done better. But shoot, we did an announcement, a broad announcement in Inman on a 2-market test that very well could fail, and we could have egg on our face.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So let's competition. Why is it that Redfin announces in their S1 that they're doing this? Open Door's been out there for a while now.
Yep.
Why do you guys get the ship burrito?
Why do we get to ship burrito? Hey, we've been a successful company and we've been a controversial company because we put the consumer first, and we value the industry. We value real estate agents, teams, brokers, or franchise relationships. It's what I spend. It's what my job is. It's what I spend most of my time on. But if there's push come to shove, we always have to be transparent about this. We've got to delight the consumer, the buyer and the seller, Beth and Susan. And if we do that, we're all going to be great as an industry.
Yes.
And we consider ourselves part of the real estate industry, whether or not everyone thinks that's the case. So that's core to what we believe. So why do we get crap? Because, hey, we do some things that might not make money or might not make friends in the short term, but we think will be a bridge for the industry in the long term, because we are nothing without the real estate community. We're a 2-sided marketplace. We've got consumers on one side, we've got agents, brokers, and teams on the other side. We have to walk a balance in between both those markets to keep them happy, or this whole thing, this marketplace doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so we get a bunch of garbage because we tend to be very consumer-centric, I think.
Well, I mean, listen, I've watched people get mad at you guys because there's no real estate agent in your TV ads. Like, we're your clients. Why aren't we inside your ads? Got any opinions on that? 'Cause I mean, that stuff comes up, right?
Sure it does. Hey, on the TV ads, not to give too much on the magic there, we've researched that question extensively. We're people of data. And you know this, what lights consumers up is houses.
Yeah.
So that's why the TV ads focus on houses. Like, we don't see a world where you're buying a house without a real estate agent involved in it. But gosh, what brings folks in to the sites, to the apps, is falling in love with their life in a house. And that's why we advertise. It's about them.
Yeah.
And that's why we do it.
Smart. They don't like it. They still don't like it. But the ones that are getting leads from you guys, leads create a better lifestyle for them. So, all right. So let's go straight to all of your questions. And we just codified this down to the 5 or 6, right? The big one is, Rich Barton, Expedia. Come on, man. Zillow is trying to put agents out of business.
Okay.
Come on, like your founder, like he annihilated an entire industry.
Yes.
Come on, tell the truth. The $900 million in revenue you guys get from agents isn't really important to you. You want to put them out of business.
Yeah. So 75% of our revenue is very, very important to us. But let's not even go the revenue thing. So social media is really interesting. People say lots of stuff on social media with great, like, it's okay to speculate, but they say things as fact on social media, and almost never have the folks who are stating fact about our intentions ever talk to us.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, it's my job, it's what I do for the company, and it's what my partners do. There's never been a scheme or a belief that real estate agents wouldn't be central to the real estate transaction. And there's never been a belief that we were going to become a broker. So let's just get to the obvious question.
Yeah, that was the next one. When are you guys going to become a broker, and are you going to have employee agents?
This is all so odd to me, that the broker thing. We've got wonderful brokerage relationships all over the country. We believe brokers are important. I don't know much about the brokerage business. I know our company would be a lousy broker. We're a really, really, really good internet company. It's suited us pretty well. We've been pretty successful at it. We work with thousands of brokers all across the country, have no plans, haven't ever had any plans to become a broker or put real estate agents out of business, ever.
And you guys are in conversation with, all the CEOs, of every major brand and every large independent.
Yeah.
So did you guys get a bunch of phone calls from them saying, see, we knew it was coming?
Yeah, so we get lots of phone calls for lots of things, which is great. I love dialogue. And I'll take on dialogue with anybody on any topic, and no one has to be polite. We pre-briefed a bunch of the largest brokers in the country about this before launching under non-disclosure agreements. And I won't call them out because I want them to continue to look at our stuff and give us feedback, even if it's going to be controversial. So a bunch saw this in advance. But the largest brokers in the country, we've got warm and some very, very warm relationship, and other very collaborative and transactional relationships know what our intentions are, which is we believe a future with a real estate agent as the center of the transaction for decades and decades to come. You will not be replaced by robots. I really don't think so.
There are people that literally think that, though, that think that a lead's going to come through, an AI is going to answer the phone, a Tesla non-human being driving car is going to take them to a house, and a robot's going to show them. People actually believe that stuff about you guys.
Yeah. We don't.
It sounds like an exciting world, though, doesn't it? Think about it.
I would tell you one of our biggest challenges that we're working on today, and you're going to laugh at me at this. So in the Instant Offers product, consumer comes in, gets 3 or 4 non-binding offers from investors, gets a CMA. Most often, they'll go ahead and look at that CMA. We actually transmit the whole CMA. It's high quality and beautiful. We transmit that over. We then follow up to see if they want to talk to the real estate agent. And we pass the contact information over to the real estate agent who's participating in our program as a lead. We still have trouble getting those leads called back.
Yeah.
So we've got a consumer that's raised their hand, given us their address, taken photos, filled out the age of the roof. They've interacted with us.
Looked at 3 offers and a CMA.
And we pass it on, and the incubation or the dialogue with that consumer is the biggest challenge we have. And so we've got one, she's been public, it's why I'm calling, I'll mention her name, Veronica Figueroa, a RE/MAX agent in Orlando, who's a wonderful real estate agent. She's got a bunch of listings. She's been part of the test program. It's because she's a rigorous, awesome, aggressive salesperson, and they follow up 4 or 5 times on a lead, and she's getting leads like crazy. Getting listings and listing appointments like crazy off of this stuff. Other folks are getting a listing lead from us, following up once, and it's not converting, and they're letting it go. So you talk about robots, my biggest worry is, can we follow up with great sales skills on these listing leads? Because that's going to be the majority case coming out of Instant Offers.
Not to derail us, but look at the number of technology pieces that are coming, software that's coming out today that is trying to solve for that, right? All these different AIs and bots and automatic follow-up solutions. So, all right, let's go back to their questions. Greg, how can Zillow keep real estate agents' best interest in mind when they need to answer their investors in Wall Street? And then really, how much influence does Greg Schwartz have on the board? So 2-part question, right? So
I think I have some influence. It's my company and my friend's company. We started this to be a marketplace, to balance the needs of consumers, so buying and selling and borrowing, with the real estate industry. We need to keep those things in balance, or the marketplace doesn't work, and that's from the heart. Influence on the company, I'll let someone else speculate on how much influence I don't or do have. That's a little too egocentric for me. But hey, the needs of the real estate community, the industry, is in our boardroom all the time. And when folks speculate about Wall Street pushing us, those aren't folks that talk to us. Because here's what we know. If we delight consumers at scale, and make real estate agents really profitable who advertise with us and partner with us, we're smart enough people to figure out how to make a few bucks and build a successful company. I don't know of any time when we've had a discussion about doing something for the stock price or for the quarter. It's just not how we run our company. And we've been given the flexibility by investors and by the board to do things in the long term. They want us to build a big, successful company that helps these 2 communities. And if we do that, we'll be really successful. There's not some mythic Wall Street person putting lots of pressure on us.
Okay, this one, I'm gonna ask a very specific question, but it came up in kind of multiple different ways. And I think it really is about like, how much reach does Zillow have? Do they own other businesses that we don't know about? So is Zillow affiliated with ReferralExchange.com? They're going to love this because they're now getting exposed to a whole bunch of people. TopAgentRanked.com. And anyway, I started to get a lot of leads from these 2 websites requiring for a referral fee, etc. when I started with Zillow. So it's clearly a Zillow PA is asking, but we hear this, like, who else do they own? What's going on?
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. So no, we've no association with those two companies. I just heard of that one of those two companies now. You can't imagine, so we have a product called Premier Agent Concierge, which many advertisers use. It's a call center where we kind of warm up consumer inquiries and pass them on to our advertisers. We get a huge volume of telemarketer calls calling the phone numbers into our own call center, and we get a lot of lead submission from a variety of companies trying to sell stuff. And we built up a bank, believe it or not, of tens of thousands of blocked phone numbers and hundreds of thousands of blocked email addresses, which is a service we provide to advertisers. So no association with those companies. I feel for you. That's not why you use this whole thing.
But I tell the same thing. Like people are like, hey Tom, I liked your page and I'm one of your clients, but I'm getting all this advertising from all of your other competitors.
Yeah.
Well, how you like something on Facebook and probably somebody just ran an advertising campaign around that. So
and
just be aware.
And I also generally think vendors think folks that advertise on Zillow and Truly on StreetEasy are successful real estate agents and teams and brokers, so they want to call them, which is cool.
Yeah. All right. Has Zillow gained enough traction with Instant Offer, or do they plan to zap it?
Don't plan to zap it. Don't know if we have enough traction yet. We'll continue to test this. We'll probably go to another market. Haven't decided on what, where, why, and when, because we're just focused on understanding Las Vegas and Orlando first and making it work there. And I think it will work, by the way. I think we're going to build a really good listing lead business for real estate agents. And for some consumers who have a need for speed, I think we're going to have an investor outcome for them as well. But it's early yet and very, very manual. But hey, just if I could do a plug. Hey, we'd love you all to be part of this test. So what are we charging for this? Nothing. We're making no money on this test whatsoever.
This is actually some questions from a lot of people like, I want to be a part of it.
It's free for Premier agents and partners to participate because that's just, we want to learn. We want to see, again, the balance between net proceeds and convenience and where that lays. So if you're interested if you're in Orlando or Las Vegas, or you're in one of the other major markets, and again, we haven't announced where we're going to move to next because we haven't decided if we're moving to anyone next, but you can email us at instantoffers@zillow.com, instantoffers@zillow.com, if that's cool.
Yeah.
I did it already. If you want to be on potentially on the wait list to test some of these listing leads, we'd love you to do it.
So there's a lot of those questions, how else can, who's next, when next. But I want to be clear, how will you guys know when this works? How will you know to be able to say, this works, it's good for our agents, it's good for the consumer, it's in our North Star. How will you know?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways to know, but you know when you know. And if we're driving lots of listings, real listings for Premier agents, we know we've got something, right? And if we drive a few sales for investors, we'll know between those two things, we've got something here. And we'll feel it.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I'd admit we're not a non-for-profit. Then the next question is, can we actually charge can we charge an advertising fee for this all?
Sure.
And can we build a nice little business off of it? I suspect we will be able to. But again, early. But if we get a bunch of listings, if a bunch of folks transact downstream, then we've got something.
Got it. So you've answered, I'm looking at these questions, there's a lot of the stuff that you've answered just in our dialogue. Let's go with, what is the long-term game plan as of today, and how do they see themselves continue to partner with agents, and in what way?
Okay. Yeah, so...
And I don't know if that's a backhanded two-way question, somewhat, this is, because some of the questions were like, they want to know so they can get you next.
Yeah.
And some want to know because they're already partnering with you.
Yeah. So, hey, transparently, we're trying to build a really successful, really loved, really well-used real estate platform, real estate marketplace. Our intentions with real estate agents and teams are very, very, very clear. I want the world's best real estate agents, teams, and brokers who are internet-centric in their business model to look at us as their best, most efficient, most profitable partner they could possibly have.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what the intention. We're going to give you great software for free. We're going to connect you with really interested consumers. We're going to innovate like crazy on whatever platform comes, whether it's spoken word search, whether it's new mobile platforms, whether it's desktop reinvestment, whether it's a call center. You can count on us to continue to march new and innovative features because we've got the scale to do it, and to do that on behalf of real estate agents, teams, and brokers. Okay, so I really think of us, and I hope you will one day as we build trust. And I have many wonderful, trusting Premier agents and partners out there. Many of them are Tom Ferry customers. Thank you. And we've been on stage a bunch of times together, and it means the world to us. Think of us as a bridge to the future. There's a lot of technology coming. We're a technology-centric company. We think we're pretty good at building world-class software. We're going to continue to do that for you, real estate agents and teams and brokers. And we're going to bridge you to a future, but it only works if you trust us and you're with us and you're using it. If you choose not to use our software because you have a model that's not internet centric, that's cool. You're gonna have a successful future.
Yep.
It just won't necessarily be centric with us, which is okay. I wish you would. If you're gonna be internet centric, I want this to be the one-stop shop that you, of course, think advocates and partners with you. And that's the intention.
Love it. I would ask one of the questions that I saw, which is, can we trust him? But I think, look, at the end of the day, haters are going to hate.
Yeah.
You either trust them or you don't. You either love them or you don't, right? And we have clients that we share that say, well, I don't necessarily like Zillow, but I love the $400,000 or $500,000 in GCI it generates. So it's sometimes a love-hate relationship. Any closing thoughts? Because I'm not even going to ask that question. It's just kind of.
So let's talk about trust for a second. Hey, I trust my wife. I trust my kids. I trust my mom and dad implicitly, and I trust a few friends in the world implicitly. And then I hold everyone else, and I expect you will hold our company and Tom to a standard, which is look at what we do, not what other people say. And what we've done is we've an 11-year-old company, and not without its controversy, but I think we've advantaged consumers and we've advantaged the real estate community with every decision we've tried to advantage both those markets in everything we've done. And so who cares about Expedia? Who cares about travel? I don't. I didn't work there. What I'd ask you judge any company, not just my own or Tom's company, but what you should is not what people say, but what they actually do. And I think we've made a bunch of real estate agents, teams, and brokers wildly successful by operating a business on top of our platform, and that's wonderful.
Awesome. All right, guys. So if they have questions, they want to email you directly, do you still give out your email address? I know you're probably going to see some of this, but if they've got questions, and I'm sure maybe Jay from your team or someone from your team is maybe monitoring social and what's happening here. First of all, I appreciate you. How do they connect with you if they want to connect with you? And then we'll wrap it up.
So I'd say the best way to do it is just bump me on Facebook. Happy to connect to you and instant message me or message me over there is the best way to do it. I'm trying to stay away from that email thing.
Love it.
Love it. Have successful selling.
Yes. All right, guys. Hey, happy Friday. Hope you have a wonderful weekend coming up full of lots of open houses or summertime fun and absolutely taking listening to Making Sales. So we'll look forward to talking to you guys in the next few weeks on Real Talk. Thanks, and we're out. Hey, thanks so much for watching. We have a number of events coming up, and we'd love to have you there. Visit tomferry.com/events and reserve your spot today.